What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about America and its healthcare system and just the American nightmare overall. Because, there's a lot of Africans who are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and they really want to come to America because they believe the what they see on TV, right? They believe that, they see, behind me, they see all these great buildings, by the way, that we built, right? Keep that in mind. By the way, we built. But they see all these great buildings and they see all this infrastructure, and they think infrastructure equates to like a utopia, right? Or something better, right? Because they see the infrastructure, it seems like it equates to a better way of living, a better lifestyle. And in some instances, it is. If you have money, if you already established, or you have a skill that's highly valued in the West, you're gonna do great, right? You're gonna do great. And there's a lot of outliers, right? There's a lot of people who are exceptions to the rule. They come here and they succeed, whether they have a leg up, whether they was already upper middle class or whatever, before they came over here, whether they were smart enough to get into programs, whatever. It was always, something like that, right? So, what's going on, man? Hey, what's up, brother? So, yeah, but let's talk about the average person who wants to come here, who think everything's great. And I'm gonna tell you a short little story. And see, I'm a veteran, right? So, and I'm a war veteran. So because of that, the VA, they have to pay for all my medical stuff, right? And so a couple weeks ago, I got sick, right? Now, the reason why I was sick is because what the military has done to me. I've been poked, prodded, and injected with many different chemicals and all sorts of stuff that they didn't tell us, for like undetermined amount. Like, I'm talking about line up, needle, step up, needle, step up, needle, go back to your room type of situation, right? So I've been experimented on, and I got all sorts of stuff running in my system that don't belong there. So because of that, it messes our body up. The war doesn't end when you come home, because a lot of veterans, we have to deal with the consequences of being in the military and being treated like property, right? With no rights, right? Your property while you're in the military. But anyway, so I go to the hospital, right? I had my first time ever traveling in a ambulance, right? And they take me to the VA hospital, but because for some reason, the EMT didn't connect with the emergency service in the VA, so they had to take me to another hospital, right? Washington Hospital Center, which is right across the street. So, but I'm not worried about how much it's gonna cost, because the VA is going to pay for it. If I have to go to an emergency room anywhere else, the VA is going to pay for it, right? You just get the bill and then you send it to them, they pay for it. So I don't have to worry about that. But I knew the bill was going to come anyway. And I only stayed there for 3 days. I was in the emergency room for 1 day, intensive care for another day, and they gave me a regular room, a recovery room for day 3. I got scanned by 2 big ass machines, and I got a bunch of medicine and stuff like that, right? When that bill came, first I saw the first bill. It said $700 and something for some scan. I was like, oh, they're sending it, they're itemizing it and sending me separately. That was weird, right? But then I saw the second bill, MedStar, right? Now keep in mind, this would be somebody going in with no insurance, right? And just straight up emergency. Most people don't have insurance because they can't afford it, or they have a pre-existing condition because of the food they're forced to eat by the corporations that makes them sick, and then the insurance companies don't actually want to cover it. And even if you do have insurance, once the medical bill come here, they'll find a way not to insure 90% of what it is that they're supposed to be insuring. We know how that works. Same with car insurance, same with house insurance. Insurance, their job is to not cover you as best as they can. That's what their underwriters do, but they want you to pay them so they can find a way not to cover you when you actually need it. You might as well just take that money that you're paying them and put it into your own health savings account and just grow that shit yourself. You're better off that way anyway. But so when I got this bill, that junk said $29,898. I was like, get the f out of here. 3 days? 3 days. So now, because I heard about it, right? I heard about people being devastated by medical bills, and it's different when you hear about it. I can empathize with it. I've always empathized with it and understood it. But since I've never experienced it, I can't truly know what it feels like. But when that bill came to me and I saw basically $30,000, right, for 3 days of of nothing. I was like, what person can survive in a country where the average person is making $45,000 to $55,000 a year? If you get sick, right, you can go to the gym, you can work out, you can eat as healthy as you want. At some point in your life, you're going to get sick, whether it's stress, because everybody's constantly stressed out, whether it's your diet, because the food available to us, especially in the black community, is not always the best, right? You go to the hospital at any point in your life can be devastated. Your bill can be more than what you make a year. That's America. And this is happening all across the board. This is not just the black, this is America, right? Not only that, right? But on top of that, housing, nobody can afford to live anywhere, right? So we live in a country where you can't afford to live. You can't afford to come out of high school, right? Get a regular job and get your apartment. So how do you pull yourself up from your bootstraps when you can't even afford the boots? Huh? How do you do that, right? And then student loans. So you get a kid, they got two choices when they come out of high school. They got choices. If they don't got a scholarship, right? They either gotta pay astronomical amount of money to get a degree that they can't use, right? Because they ain't got no experience when they get out and nobody wants to hire them, right? They can't use. Then when they get into the workforce, they already 100, 200, 300. Sometimes if they want to be an engineer or they want to strive to be excellent, $500,000, $250,000, $500,000 in debt before. So their credit's already jacked up because they owe a lot. Nobody's going to trust them, right? Hell, you good luck getting a clearance with that kind of debt, right? To get any type of high-end security job in government or whatever, or corporation, right? Like, come on, right? So you already coming out of college, that, you know, the school system's supposed to prepare you and launch you off your life. Instead, it traps you in a debt. Then you can't afford an apartment. You're trapped in further debt, right? Because you got to pay 90%, talking about 30%, 90% of us are paying, the majority of our money goes towards our rent or our mortgage, right? And then on top of that, if you just so happens to get sick, it's over for you, right? Unless you got some sort of Cadillac insurance, right? That seems to cover everything. But if you got that, guess what? That's the rest of your paycheck. So after you pay your mortgage and pay the insurance that's good enough to actually cover you when something happens, you ain't got no money. Either way, you're screwed. America is built to keep us right where we are. It's to keep us poor, desperate, sick. You know why? Because if you don't want to be poor, desperate, and sick, you know what you can do? You can give up your life and join the military, and you can let us do anything we want to do with you for about 4, 8, 10, 20 years, and then we'll hook you up. Right, yeah, you can do that. Right, that's the one way out. Yeah, go ahead and join the military. You can join the police force, right, and be our stooges, right, and do all the things that we want you to do on behalf of our power structure. Like the rich people in America and in the West, they require us to be poor, sick, unhealthy in order for them to make all the money, right? But see, the moment everybody realizes that that's what they're doing, right? And when we start to get mad and start to look for somebody to blame, you see, what they do is they send their minions, the propaganda machine, to come down and say, you know why your life sucks in this country? It's because of them. It's because of them, right? And we fall for it every time. That's why you got, you know, white folks and POCs blaming black folks. They blame us. Blame us, it's our fault. Yeah, we did it. Yeah. First it was the Mexicans. No, first it was us. The poor white people blamed us for being slaves. Remember? They actually blamed us for being enslaved and taking their jobs away originally, right? Then we were free and we had all the labor and knowledge. Then we got blamed for being the cheaper labor, right? White folks got mad, right? Because they didn't want to get hired. They didn't want to hire those white folk because these black people with all the skills would do it for much less, right? And then after that didn't work, now you got these Mexicans, right? And there's the Spanish people. Now they got you white people being mad at the Mexicans because they would do the work for less because corporations don't want to pay your white ass. You want too much goddamn money. That takes away from their bottom line. Just like them white folks don't want to pay your black ass. Why? Huh? Because you want too much money and they don't want to pay your ass. You take away from their profit margins, right? And soon enough, the Mexicans, we don't want to pay your motherfucking Mexican ass. Why? Because you want too much goddamn money and you're messing with our bottom line. Huh, that's why these fucking robots about to come and we all about to be mad at the robot. Why? Because the robot's going to be cheaper than all our asses, right? So So while we sitting here, well, black folks, we've been knowing it. We've been trying to tell everybody, hey, it's not us, it's the system. But it's those POCs and white folks that still fall for the same bullshit from their own people trying to blame us, right? So they spend their energy and time being racist, bigoted, right, towards us, instead of spending their energy fighting and pointing their anger towards the people that truly deserve it, right? Huh? That's what's happening. And so their job is to keep you as stupid and ignorant as possible, to keep us as divided as much as possible, in order for us to remain distracted, poor, weak, and unhealthy, so we can keep making this money for them. So we can keep being slaves. If you don't think we slaves in America, then you're not woke. You're not aware. You're not conscious. That's why I tell, hey, all my continental African brothers, it's not better over here all the time. If you ain't rich already, you're going to come over here, you're going to join the rat race like the rest of us. But you get to be next to these really nice buildings. Huh? See, the great thing about Africa is they have the ability to do something different. They have the ability to do something different, to make it different. Because the West, right, is happening in UK, France, all of Europe, all the white Western world. This is their system. We have a chance to do something different. Other places have decided to do something different. There's even some European countries that decided to do something different. Because this shit right here is not sustainable. We can't live. We can't get health care. We can't get housing. Everything's too expensive. Nobody can afford. What's gonna happen when the corporation don't got nobody to sell their shit to? Because nobody got no money. What's gonna happen? There's gonna be a collapse. All right? There's gonna be a collapse. At some point, it's bound to happen. It's happened in every Western civilization that tried this type of capitalism. At some point, the bubble will pop. And when the bubble pops, chaos happens. All right? But anyway, a lot of you continental Africans that think, because y'all watch TV, y'all think America's just the greatest because they got all this stuff, and you think the place that you at sucks, just understand it's a different type of suck over here. All right? And when you get in this type of suck, ain't no getting out. Ain't no getting out. All right? That's all I got to say. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.